morning.
morning.
Good evening.
네. 모두 건강하게 잘 지내셨습니까?
Hello, everyone. Have you been in good state, healthy, and
네, 오랜만에 뵈는데 정말 반갑습니다.
it's nice meeting you. It's been a while, everyone.
네, 이제 시작하기 위해 먼저 경배를 올리도록 하겠습니다.
Let's start our meeting today with about our heavenly parents and true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind.
네, 하늘 부모님과 전지인 장부모님께 경배 바로 네, 기도는 서유럽 코디네이터 Mrs. Jane Torres님께 부탁드릴게요.
I'd like to ask Mrs. Jane Torreson, the coordinator from West Europe, to offer a prayer, please.
Thank you very much. Let us pray together.
Давайте помолимся все вместе.
Our dearest Heavenly Parent, we're so grateful that we can meet together, brothers and sisters from all over the world. We are really striving to find out how we can follow you and our true parents in the best possible way. We understand our true Father has been teaching so much about heavenly tribal messiahship, and through loving our tribe, we can grow our hearts and become the true people that you want to see. We really ask that you can come and join this meeting this morning, and that we can find out how we can be better children for you, parents. I pray for every brother and sister here, and Professor Gill and all these who are giving presentations today. Please help us to find your heart in the words that are spoken. And please not just listen to the words, but that we can really put them into practice in our missions. Please accept this prayer, which I offer on behalf of everyone here and Ola and Jane Tourson, a Blessed Central family. Adieu.
아주 감사합니다. 네, 다음은 출석 체크 시간인데요.
Let's check our attendance. Sorry.
네, 아시다시피 채팅방에 들어가셔서 이름, 직책, 전화번호, 메일 등을 남겨주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Please leave your name, your position, your phone number, and email address in the chatting room. You know where to put your names and your information, right?
네, 출석 체크하시는 동안 오늘 주요 참석자들을 소개하겠습니다.
While you're checking in your attendance, would like to introduce some of the main presenters and leaders who are attending today's session.
네, 우선 현장에서 오늘은 아프리카, 서유럽, 동유럽, 캐나다, 아시아 이렇게 많은 천복가정과 축복가정 오늘 참석하시는데 서로 아주 큰 박수를 환영하도록 하겠습니다.
Let's give a big round of applause to everyone who's attending today's session from Africa, West Europe, Eastern Europe, Canada, Asia. Let's give a big round of applause to everyone. Thank you.
네, 그리고 이번에 천복교육원 쪽에 오늘의 메인 주인공 김영환 교수님 오늘 참석하셨습니다. 아주 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Let's give a big round of applause to our main speaker, Director Kim Young-hwan from Chombo Education Center.
네, 그리고 첨보 리더스쿨 코디네이터들도 오늘 참석하셨는데 너무 많아서 한 명씩 이렇게 이름을 못 부르겠지만 정말 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
And there are so many coordinators of CLS who are attending today. I cannot name every person. Let's give a big round of applause to all the coordinators. Thank you.
네, 그리고 오늘 통역도 이제 크리스티나 리 감바시, 문명호, 그리고 옐레나 이렇게 세 분은 오늘 통역 도와주시는데 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
And for translation, there's Mr. Young Ho Moon, Yelena, and Christina Kambashi. But let's give a big round of applause. Thank you.
네, 그리고 마지막으로 저는 첨보 리더스쿨 코디네이터 스마트 아미 인가마입니다. 반갑습니다. 안녕하세요.
And it's Ami Smart Ingana, Chombo coordinator. Let's give her a big round of applause.
네, 그 수업 시작하기 전에 먼저 현장을 대표해서 몇 명을 좀 인사를 좀 부탁드리고 싶은데 원장님께서 혹시 누가 하면 좋을까요?
I'd like to invite just a few people to say hello to everyone representing in each region. I'd like to ask Director Kiel, could you please?
예, 그 각 대표되신 분이 계시면 좋은데 아시아 쪽에는 누가 들어와 계십니까?
Who's joining? Who's attending from Asia, Asian region?
네팔에 우리 국가 메시아가 들어와 있는 네팔 국가 회장님.
From Nepal, the national
프라카시
president.
예.
From
계십니까?
성함이 어떻게 되시나요?
네, 프라카 예, 계시겠어요.
Namaste, Professor Gill. Namaste.
나마스테 네, 인사해 주시고 그다음에 김문식 우리 회장님 들어오셨는지 모르겠어요.
Dr. Munch Kim from Canada, are you here?
안녕하십니까, Professor
예.
and
예.
brothers and sisters. I already greeted several times before. Anyway, I'm grateful to Dr. Kiel and also the great contents and I'm very inspiring to hear all the successful our members to apply all the teachings. Thank you so much. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 우리 독립주의 안톤 누나 please. 예, 안톤.
Yeah, greetings from Prague. I am very happy to listen to you, Professor Gill. This is incredible, very good what you are doing. Coaching. This is absolutely very, very good because this is for us elder members to coach younger and generally in the society, coaching is a number one. And you are excellent with this case. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. 제가 이 명단을 봤을 때 그 우크라이나도 들어와 있고 러시아도 들어와 있는 걸 알고 있는데 거기 혹시 우크라이나 분이나 계십니까?
When I saw the name list of attendance today, ahead of time, I saw members joining in from Ukraine and also Russia. Is there a member or leader joining from Ukraine?
네, 무척 힘드시겠죠? 지금 들어오기가 명단은 있는데.
I'm sure it's not so easy for them to join us. I've seen the names, but
러시아의 리더 되시는 분가 있으면 들어와 주시기 바랍니다. 러시아.
any Russian leader who's joining in, would you please say hello to everyone?
Dear Professor Gill, members from all over the world. My name is Alexey Savelik from Russia. So really happy to join you and be with you as a one family under God, waiting for new teaching from Professor Gil. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 참 오늘은 이렇게 참 좀 수업에 우리가 얼굴을 마주 보면서도 역사적인 사건이 지금 일어나고 있기 때문에 뭔가는 가슴이 이렇게 참 편한 것 같지는 않습니다. 그죠? 이 모두가 그런 마음을 갖고 있을 것 같습니다.
As we are joining in together this session, I'm sure we're, as all of you are witnessing this historical event that's happening in Europe, I feel everybody has something in your heart. That is,
매일같이 기도하고 계시죠? 빨리 이런 전쟁이 끝나고 빨리 평화가 오기를.
I'm sure everyone is praying for the peaceful ending of this war, right? Every day, I'm sure you're praying.
참 어머님께서 원하시는 이 평화 애원 작업들을 빨리 많이 했으면 이런 일이 벌어지지 않았을 것인데 이런 생각도 들고요.
And I think if we work really fast and we've moved forward fast, then maybe as true mother would like, the world peace would have happened not like this, right? Not this kind of war would have happened.
하늘 부모님 앞에 참모님 앞에 그저 미안하고 죄송할 뿐입니다.
And I feel so sorry to Heavenly Parent and true parents.
자, 그래서 어쨌든 우리가 최선을 다해서 빨리 전쟁이 종식되고 서로 왕래하면서 함께 웃고 평화로운 날이 오기를 오늘 이 시간을 빌어서 정말로 소원하고 기도드리겠습니다.
And I truly want to offer a prayer through this session that let's do our best so that we can pray for the ending of the war and everyone can interact and relate in laughter and happiness.
정말 하늘 앞에 바랍니다. 빨리 이 의미도 모르고 뜻도 모르고 죽어가는 많은 젊은이들이 있는 이 시간이 빨리 지나갔으면 좋겠습니다.
And truly pray before heaven that this would end as soon as possible. So many young people who are dying without even knowing why.
그런 마음을 갖고 오늘 수업의 공유를 시작하겠습니다.
And let's start today's session with the kind of heart in each one of us.
We have been thinking, am I a leader or a manager? Secondly, we learned that we need to see well in order to achieve our desired goal in coaching. Today, we are going to share what we mean by do well. What does it want to do well? To be a good coach, you need to be a good listener. Good listener. You need to ask good questions. You also need to show empathy and support for your client. No matter how good you are at CWell, you will fail if the actual coaching is not good. Here, you will learn what kind of effort should be made to do well. First of all, you need to create a good environment for coaching. Next, you will learn a number of necessary skills for coaching conversations. After coaching the client, you need to provide continuous feedback and follow. In order to become a professional coach, you need to create good relationships within a coaching trinity for the experience and practice of coaching. If you make a team of 3 people, 1 coach, 1 client, and 1 observer, and if you keep practicing coaching, you will become a good coach. All of these are included in do well. So, what does do well means within a coaching conversations? What is good give and take? This means the coach and the client have a coaching conversation focusing on their true feelings, seeing well what they want, and giving and receiving well. Coaches and clients should have good coaching conversation, not general conversation. Within the coaching process, if the give and take action of giving and receiving coaching conversation take place, each other's desired result will be achieved and coaching will flourish. This is a way of training which focus on the original mind and strength the competency of Heavenly GT leadership, which is well communication between coaches and client. Yes. A good environment must be created for coaching. These environments include an inner environment and an outer environment. Coaching requires that you and your client be comfortable within their minds. Coaching does not work if one is anxious and busy with many thoughts on their mind. Coaching works well when there is an inner place, inner peace, and a heart, and loves and cares for each other. The same is true externally. The environment must be good. When the internal and external environment fit well, good coaching can be achieved. In particular, the coach must start and proceed in a completely purified position without judging the client. Coaching conversation must also be conducted in a very clean and clear language. A good rapport should be formed in a state where feelings are shared and resonated between coaches and client. Okay. Basically, the coach must believe that there is a divinity in the client. So do not use self-centered, directive, violent, or harsh language. You should use a comfortable, clean language. A clean language is a language that does not contain ego. It is to use a positive, enterprising, and neutral language rather than negative language, client-centered, not coach-centered. Okay, neutral language is languages that expresses only objective phenomena without self-subjection. It is a language that is not based toward either side. It is best to use clear language without giving advice, judging, exploring, or assuming what the other person is saying. The coach's attitude is so important in good coaching. You have to have a conversation with the belief that you truly care for the other person and that the other person can enlighten themselves because the divine is alive in the self. Okay. Coaches need to build good rapport with clients. Rapport represents building a bridge. The idea is to create an environment where you can warmly exchange heart with each other. To be good at coaching, you need to be good at the mirroring. Mirroring means matching the other's expressions like you see in a mirror. It shows how to become one with the client by following the actions, keyword, and the voice tone of the client during coaching. When the client is angry and says that, the coach also says, as if angry. This is called mirroring. Then there is a backtracking. When the client is talking, you repeat the word by matching the keyword and voice tone. So if you say, that's right, or I see, or you're right during a conversation, you can bring out much more thought from within the client's mind. Okay, I also do facing. It's good to do facing to match each other, like working together, matching breathing, movement, and voice tone while also talking with client. If we would do a lot of devotion preparation before meeting a person, we can read the moment. This is called calibration. This is to be in position where you can see and feel the other person spiritually. By appropriately reading the other person in detail, even any possible hidden message without verbalization, we can say this is doing well or well doing in professional coaching. When coaching, we need to coach well by using the environment and good coaching skill. We learned that coaches should treat their client using clean language from a position completely absent of ego. Now it is time to learn what it means to be good coach. Yes. I will talk about listen well, which is a part of do well. A lot of people gather around people who listen well, and people really like those who listen to them warm heart. Affectionate people listen well to others. How to listen to others? How would you rate your listening score? Please ask your family members to score you. This is why listening is so important. A futurist named Tom Peters said that in the 20th century was the age of speaking leaders. The 21st century is the age of listening leaders. Listening is important. In particular, if you want to become a Chambo family and a Chambo coach, you must have excellent listening skill. So today, in a very short time, I will talk about what it means to listen well. To listen well means to listen actively to others. To listen actively means to have an attitude of listening well to them. Also, it means you should be able to even listen to what they don't say. It may sound strange, but you must have excellent spiritual ears that can hear others beyond their speaking. To have a good listening attitude is not just listening to the other persons while they speak. It is listening to the other person's conversation while summarizing the conversation and explaining it very clearly as a coach. The other person may be emotionally triggered to talk a lot in a verbose way. At times like this, even the one who is talking is confused. Then the coach should summarize what the other person is saying. Shall I summarize what you just said? Is it A, B, C, D, E, F? This is an example of what you might listen to within an active attitude, or when the other person are talking in a complicated way, you may need to paraphrase the conversation while listening. You become like a mirror which reflect the keyword, voice, tone, and action of the other person that is facing. Yes. For example, if your client says, "What do you want me to do?" It implies that possibly he and she can't do it. There are a lot of these possible signs in conversation. Even if they say A, you should be able to understand and listen to possible hidden B, C, D behind it. There is a word, calibration. Calibration. This is something you can see and feel intuitively. You have to be able to catch the feeling behind the word. In this case, this means active listening. How many conversations do you think true mother must have when she closed her eyes and imagined to the father's face after his Seonghwa? To the father's passed away, however, true mother must have heard many words from him since that time. Marabian published is a study showing that only 70% of what people say is true. This is called Marabian lies. In addition to the 7%, facial expressions accounted for 35%, voice 38%, and speaking attitude 20%. All of these must be added to achieve 100% communication. There are several ways to listen well. Preparation of heart is needed to listen to other people. To coach someone, I don't know. I try to converse in my mind, thinking of him the night before, recalling his face in prayer and contemplation. So my original mind has a conversation with his original mind. In this way, we meet each other after reacting a bond of understanding. When I met people while doing this, I felt very at ease, and I had a lot of experience where the other persons felt as if they had known me lately. It requires a preparation in your heart. To listen well, you have to let go of your ego. You should be egoless. You have to put down all your preconceived notions and judgment about people and listen to them with a pure attitude. Eye contact is very important. If you keep doing other things in the middle of a conversation, you lose concentration and trust, making it difficult to listen well. That's why it's important to make eye contact so that you can be fully focused. You have to remember this without forgetting. If there is a difficult part in the conversation that you can't remember well, it would be good to make a simple memo. After that, you have to fully acknowledge the other person's feelings, so you have to be able to listen to enough of the other's word to catch their emotions. And then one of the most important things is silence. Silence. You must be able to listen to the language of silence, and you need to allow silence. You need to allow silence. In order to improve the competence of heart harmony GT leadership, training to listen well to other persons is necessary. Being able to listen to even silent possible signs makes you a good listener. What do you think when you look at this picture? At the time of true father Songha, what did true mother say as she kissed true father's on his forehead also? What do you think true mother heard from true father? Don't worry, and go in peace. I will do all the things you couldn't do. Achoo. I can listen to true mother's voice like this. What do you listen to? To become a chamber coach, you must be able to listen well. I hope to see you all as beautiful listeners. Until next time. Thank you.
네, 정말 감사합니다, 원장님.
Thank you so much, Director Kill.
네, 발표 시작하기 전에 원장님 혹시 뭐
예. 참 오늘 중요한 얘기를 지금 나누고 있습니다.
Today we're talking really important topics here.
이렇게 우리가 지금까지 여러분들이 시웰에 대한 공부를 열심히 했었죠.
So far we've learned and studied together about the C well, right?
훌륭한 코치가 되려면 일단은 클라이언트의 원하는 것을 잘 볼 수 있도록 시각화시켜주는 것이 상당히 중요하다고 했습니다.
And we've learned to become a wonderful coach, you have to be able to visualize, you have to be able to let the client to see and visualize what they want.
그래서 여러분들의 원하는 클라이언트들이 원하는 어떤 목표가 또는 어떤 비전이라든가 또 어떤 가치라든가 또는 자기들이 하고 싶은 어떤 액션 플랜 같은 것들을 할 수 있도록 하기 위해서는 코치가 그 했다고 하는 그런 장면들을 보게 해주는 거. 이거 중요하다고 그랬죠.
And it's important for the client to see or envision what they want, their goal, vision, value, and action plan. And you should be able to help them to see that ahead of time, like envision it.
근데 아무리 벌권을 잘 번게 해주더라도 우리가 실제적으로 이 코칭을 잘 하지 못하면은 큰 성과를 거두기가 어렵죠.
But even if you let or help clients to see well, but if as a coach, if you can't really coach it well, then you can't really expect an accomplishment.
그래서 두 웰이 필요하게 되는 거죠.
That's why we need to do well in this.
이 두 웰은 여러 가지 내용이 있지만은 오늘 배웠지만요. 그 내용 중에서도 특별히 우리가 듣는 것, 잘 듣는 것 이것이 상당히 중요합니다.
We've learned various things under this topic of do well, and we've learned today. But there's the most important thing I want to suggest is like listen very well.
지금 우리가 코치로서 클라이언트가 얘기하는 걸 잘 듣는 것이 중요하다고 우리가 계속 얘기하지만은 이 잘 듣는 거는 그 누구에게나 다 필요한 거죠.
Of course, I'm emphasizing as a coach, you need to listen well, but this applies to everyone actually, right?
해와가 타락하기 전에 자기가 행동하려고 했을 때 해와가 질문한다든가 또는 자기 아내 하늘 부모님에게 이런 것들을 묻고 소리를 잘 들을 수 있었다면 그는 타락하지 않았을 겁니다.
Like let's say about Eve in the Garden of Eden, before she fell, right? Before her action, if she had asked and if she had listened to an inner, like heavenly parent inside her, within her, if she did that, then she wouldn't have fallen in the first place.
예, 우리가 그래서 잘 듣는다는 것은 코칭할 때 상대방이 얘기를 잘 듣는 것도 중요하지만은 더 중요한 것은 코치 안에 내 안에 계신 하늘 부모님의 소리를 본심의 소리를 잘 듣는 것이 상당히 중요한 겁니다.
Of course, it's important to listen to the other person's what they're saying, but it's very important to listen to your own original mind, the voice of God within yourself.
그래서 코치가 클라이언트한테 자기의 에고를 버리고 정말로 클라이언트가 무슨 얘기를 하는 걸 잘 듣는 이런 훈련과 내용을 계속 연습한다면은 내 안에 있는 아내 소리도 들을 수 있도록 그렇게 경청자가 될 수 있다는 것을 말씀드리고 싶어요.
And I would like to tell you, as a coach, if you train yourself to let go of your ego and practice and train yourself to listen to the client's real voice behind it, then also you'll be able to listen to your voice within yourself.
이런 내용들 여러분들이 잘 이제 생각하시면서 꼭 세 명이서 함께 연습을 하면서 한 분은 코치, 한 분은 그 다음에 그 경청하는 클라이언트, 그 다음에 이제 경청하면서 평가를 해주는 관리자, 이 세 명이서 한번 잘 해서 연습을 자꾸 하시면 훨씬 좋은 코치가 됩니다.
And in order for you to become a really good coach, I would like to suggest that 3 people as a team to practice it together. One person as a coach, one person as a client, and the other person who can actually oversee and maybe trainer, manage. If you do that, yeah, it will be a good training.
캐나다 토론토 교회 목사님께서 정리를 한 것 같은데 한번 일단 들어보고요. 그 다음에 또 아프리카 우리 지금 얘기를 또 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
I believe Reverend Ryan Abner from Toronto, who's prepared to give a presentation, the summary of this lesson, and after that we will listen from Mrs. like from sister from Africa. Sorry, I have a name. But... Reverend Ryan Abner, are you ready?
Yes. Good morning. Do you hear me?
Yes. I can
Thank
hear
you.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor Gale. Good morning. Yeah, let me share my slides, a few pictures, please. Thank you. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning from Canada. Very good morning. So I just want to give some feedback or some reflections about this wonderful, very important lecture. I really feel jealous actually for our member because they received this lecture from Professor Gill for free. And it's very important lecture for happening today. So to start, I want to read this quote. With the gift of listening comes the gift of healing. It is very appropriate quote right now, especially what happened in the world right now and for our lessons. Listening, with the gift of listening, we can heal this world, we can heal our brother and sister, we can heal, we can bring actually Chonglgok in this world through listening. So it's very important to learn more about listening. So with that, I want to continue with this Professor Gill PowerPoint of preparing yourself. This, I think, one of the most important before we start giving counseling is to prepare ourselves emotionally, environmentally, and our heart prepared to coach. If we have a heart of purifying ourselves before even start the counseling itself, because that's determine the whole thing, the counseling itself, our preparations. If our hearts prepare, we have enough conditions, our emotional prepare, and we're ready to give counsel, give coaching, we are 90% ready to help our client. With the right motivations, everything is correct. So with that, listening actively is the best lesson that I received today. You know, I've been in church for a long time, and it's listening is the, I think, less practice for a while. I've been in the fundraising team. I have a captain I always follow. Sometimes to share yourself is not that oftenly entertained. But this era now, Chunguk, I think listening is the era that we should have now to transitioning for establishing the Chunguk is the era of listening. So I hope this lecture really echo the heart of mother, the echo of the heart of providing space to listen the emotion behind each one of us. And through that, encouragement and allowing other person to talk and to entertain them, to entertain their heart, I think we can provide healing for all the members, for our brother and sister, to encourage them to be a chambo. I think that's our main goal of us, is to reflect and to encourage other people to walk the Chambo providence. Listen actively. It's a very, very, very important message that I received today. Listen actively. So we know that listening is only 7% of the words based on the lectures, and the tone, the body language is more message than that. And this is the most important. I like the topic, the 7 actively ways of listening. Yeah. And eye contact, waiting, listening to all the speaking, then taking memo, allow silence. This is very important. Sometimes we don't push people to talk. Allowed silence is very important sometimes. And to be with them is a way of communicating. And I add open-ended coaching question. I will discuss more a little bit about that. No, everything we hear to Dr. Professor Gill is, I feel really thankful, because if we hear it just for a few minutes, right? For me, it takes me 2 years in a hospital to do to list chaplaincy in the hospital to learn these things, and I pay money to teach me how to have this skill to visit every day in the patients, practice counseling, coaching, and takes me 2 years, and it's helped me to understand more counseling and coaching. But for our member, we get it for free for the Professor Gill. You need to be thankful for Professor Gill for giving us this free. And this is not just instant transformation. It takes time and practice and continues doing it. Here in these settings, I realized the importance of listening, even a silence. If you go in, with my experience, when I go to the patients, sometimes they don't talk at all. But to be there, stay with them, at the end and say thank you for the visit, it creates impact. I think it's also for our member or for our clients. Sometimes when we sit down and talk and just not ready to share, not ready to open themselves, allow them to be a silence. And for that person to give him space to be gain respect, because this person respect me. That kind of opportunity allowed you for them to be with them, to be in themselves, for counseling for that person. The goal is we coach the person is we giving the analogy of a pregnant lady. There is a potential baby inside this woman, and we are helping her to develop that baby and to deliver that baby out in this world. That's the analogy of counseling. When we talk to our clients, there are potential in that client. There is potential good to be a chambo in that client. We encourage him, we listen to him, to them, and we help them to deliver that dream. You know, we have see well, right, in the beginning. And do well is to facilitate, cater this to happen. Very gently. You know, I have a wife, and when she is pregnant, very gently. You need to take care of the food they eat. You need to be careful the word you use, be careful how they walk, exercise, everything that for this lady, for the pregnant woman to be successfully delivered the baby. I think that's the analogy that I can help to how very delicate counseling is. And the promise of having a baby or having a chumbo is very promising for each our member. So that's the goal of we have now. I think this lecture is to digest all those things and understand how that listening really important. And through coaching, we can help our community to move on in a new era of Chungliguk. The era when we are being become a gift of our true parents to Heavenly Fathers through Chambu, becoming a treasure of heaven. So we are helping that, serving our community to help them to become a Chambu. And remembering, if all the Chambu have that kind of heart, the listening, the gift of healing, the gift of listening, we can heal this world. We can heal our brother and sister. We can heal the heart of God to being a Chambu, right? So to wrap up, that's what it always remind me with my supervisor is try to look and reflect, like looking in this river. What did you see in the river? Right? If you just see the river itself, everything in the river, that's the way of looking to client. But at the end, you need to realize that you need to see the reflection of your face in that river. Because at the end, the question is, what this experience meaning for me? Back to me. What's the message of what my experience of my counseling? What is the message that happened today? What did I see? What did affect me? How that helped me to grow for my spiritual self? The always question that my supervisor asked me is, what's the message? Behind what do you see? What's God want to say to you? Behind the message of the clients talking, the moving, the experience you have, at the end, what is the message God want to say to you? And I think that's the main message I can say, that what's the message? Especially now we listen about this very wonderful training, listening, and we understand how to listen to the message behind the word, message behind the person's talking, and listening to the soul of that words, the soul of that person. And think about it. What is the message for me? What, for me personally, I hear that God is want to heal this world, and please be a healer for this world through listening. That's what I hear. So, Professor Gil, thank you for this wonderful lecture, and I hope through this we can bring new providence for our church. Thank you. Have a good day.
감사합니다.
Thank you so much.
항상 목사님의 이렇게 그 발표할 때 보면은 나는 상당히 그 신비함을 느낍니다. 발표하는 내용 가운데 뭔가 통찰력이 꽤 깊게 이렇게 있는 것을 제가 느낍니다.
Every time when I listen to your presentation, I always feel there's something mysterious. You have a part of kind of, how should I put it? Yeah.
목사님은 그 자신의 경청 점수를 100점 만점으로 봤을 때 자신은 몇 점 정도의 경청자다 이렇게 얘기할 수 있겠습니까?
I know you have a really good insight. You yourself, if you can score your listening ability when you talk with the client, what would you give yourself as a score? Are you a good listener?
10 is the highest. Let's say 10. Probably around 6. still working on.
대단합니다.
Oh, that's
예.
wonderful.
어떻게 하면 그 10점 만점이라는 소리를 들을 수 있다고 생각하세요, 그러면?
Then what would be a way that you can say, okay, 10 out of 10? How would you be describing, like, if you can get 10 out of 10?
That's a perfection level. I think being humble and being willing to receive everything and to open your spirit and your eye and your ear and all your sense to digest the person in front of you. That's 100%. Like you feel everything, like the emotion, the action, the motivation, the message behind the word, the emotion of the word, the message that you want to say. I think, and to recognize that all that message is channeled to God and responds correctly. You lead. I think that's the perfection of listening. 100%.
네. 대단히 정말 그 들어보니까 철학적으로 얘기하시는 것 같아요.
But he is very philosophical. You're wonderful.
한 번 더 물어보겠습니다. 혹시 와이프랑 부인이랑 대화할 때 100점을 맞으려면은 어떻게 하면 100점 또 10점을 맞을 수 있겠는가 한번 얘기해 보시겠어요? 와이프랑 얘기할 때.
Then could you please maybe explain it one more time? I have one more question to you. When you communicate, when you talk with your wife, let's say if you would be getting 10 out of 10, and how would you communicate or talk with your wife as a husband?
Honestly speaking, I treat my wife as my wife, not my client. So I really don't read my wife. I let her be who she is, and I respond to be who am I. I'm not her coach. I'm her husband. So I stay with my role as a husband, as a coach, because I don't want to change our relationship. I want to stick with that. And either I hear it wrong, I need to clarify, or I said it bad. I need to ask, did I say it wrong? 'Cause I want to put that listening ability to become more to call this relational base as a husband and wife, not as a client and sorry, that kind of relationship. I want that I answered like that. Sorry.
예. 그런데 제가 이렇게 그 귀한 시간에 코치를 우리 함께 공유하는 것은 코치 따로 있고 나 자신 따로 있고가 아니고 가급적이면 우리가 아빠의 모자, 목사님의 모자, 그 다음에 또 뭐 엄마의 모자를 벗고 코치의 모자를 쓰면서 내가 계속 투입하면은 훌륭한 정말 리스너가 된다. 이렇게 이제 얘기하고 싶은 거예요.
We're sharing really precious time with you, right? And as a coach, I'd like to emphasize to become a really good listener. Of course, we have all different hats as a father, as a reverend like you, or as a mother. Taking off that hat and you place yourself as a coach. And if you invest yourself in any relationship that we are having, right, then you can truly become a good listener is what I'd like to emphasize today.
네, 다음번에는 그 와이프한테 10점짜리 그 리스너가 되는 것을 한번 제가 듣기를 내가 바라겠습니다.
And next time I'd like to listen to your wife who can give you like 10 out of 10 listener. Right?
고맙습니다. 예. 이 코칭을 통해서 전도라든가 그 다음에 홈그룹이 잘 되고 있는 이 말레이시아 케이스가 있지 않습니까?
And there's a really good case that we've seen through this coaching. There's like a good witnessing activities and home group activities in Malaysia.
설사 코칭의 코치를 잘 못한다 하더라도 듣기만 잘 들어도 조금 아까 우리 목사님 말씀한 것처럼 힐링이 되는 거예요. 상대방이 자기가 실컷 얘기하는 걸 잘 들어만 줘도 상대방이 치유가 됩니다.
So even if you can't really coach well, if you can listen very well to the client, to the person that you're interacting with, then the person can really be healed through you being the good listener.
그 칼 로저스라고 하는 그 참 유명한 이제 상담학자인데 이 양반은 전통적인 상담이 있었던 그 시대에 완전히 그 비지시적 스타일로 상담하는 걸로 말미암아 사람들의 마음을 사로잡았었습니다.
And there's this very famous counselor and scholar called Carl Rogers. And he's very famous in style of without directing. And that really attracted so many people's heart in his counseling.
그래서 우리가 이제 아빠든 엄마든 목사님이든 리더든 천도 가정교회장이든 우리가 대화를 할 때도 비지시적인 명령하거나 그다음에 요구하거나 하는 것보다는 우리가 질문하고 계속 잘 들어주기만 한다면은 이 클라이언트들이 원하는 것을 스스로 해결할 수 있는 그런 아주 좋은 그런 비밀이 이 경청에 있습니다.
And we, as either father or mother or leader or as a reverend or Chombo family church leader, if we don't give directions or give orders, But instead, if we ask questions and listen well, then the client themselves can find what they want or need.
혹시 그 말레이시아에서 이렇게 그 코칭을 하면서 그런 경청을 잘하며 있어가지고 좋은 어떤 결과가 나왔던 그런 케이스 같은 것이 혹시 여기 말레이시아 몇 분 계시는데 그런 어떤 그 간증을 좀 하실 수 있겠습니까?
There are like several Malaysian members joining in today. Do you have any case or that you can share as a testimony that through your good listening that you had like a good result came from your listening practice or activities as a coach? Do you have any testimonies that you could share with us today? Other Hui Kim, Mrs. Hui Kim, could you please share?
Yes. Yeah. Good evening, Professor Gill and all the leaders. Yeah. I learned this coaching leadership in 2017 from Professor Gill. We feel that it is really a fantastic good skill for us how we can become a good listener. So since that, I try to change myself to become a good listener. So I have several experience. I remember one time there is a night time. So my daughter come to me and then she talk something to me because her heart is not feeling very good. So at that time, she just 12 years old. Then at the beginning time, we have a conversation and then she talked to me many things. Then I try to, I guide her or give her some guidance. But after that, she said, Mama, please listen to me. When I heard that word, oh, okay, I should stop. I cannot speak. Okay, I must really listen to her 100%. So at that time onwards, I really tried to concentrate myself to totally invest myself to listen to her. So after I listened to her, I deeply feel something. And then she started to tell to me many stories before that in the past, especially her childhood, which I really don't know. And then she started to share out her heart. And then even more, she cried and then sharing her everything, pour out everything to me. At that time, I am very shocked. And I also realized deep in my heart that this child is suffering in her childhood. At that time, I said to her, really, I feel sorry to you, my daughter, which is I really do not enough in the past as a mother. I feel really sorry. Now I can understand your heart, your agony. Yeah, I truly feel sorry. Please forgive me. And then she continued cry, and then share out more and more. But a period after that, after she shared everything, then I feel her heart is liberated. And then she started to share many good things to me. Then we talk 3 hours nonstop until early morning nonstop. So, but I feel this is a very good conversation within me and my daughter at that time. So I realized as a good listener, how important it is. I cannot say anything, my own words or my thought, but I really need to pay my attention and then concentrate to really listen well. And even though can really understand the heart behind the words, what she said to me. So, and then I also feel deep in my heart, this is a heavenly parent's heart, because I feel, yeah, many people in this world and in our lives surrounding us, they want to tell many things with their words, but sometimes they can't express out their heart because maybe they have a limitation in expressing through the words. But through this kind of the listening well, I realized that, oh, I can really understand this person's heart. So because of that, I also can connect it to what Heavenly Parents' expectation to this person, how Heavenly Parents look at this person. I realized many things in my heart. At that time, I'm very moved and I'm very touching. So I also together cried with this person. At that time, I also cried together with my daughter. It is not because I'm a mother and she is a daughter, but I also can feel that, oh, this is a Heavenly Parents' heart also. Because when Heavenly Parents look at all the children, especially those who are suffering, those they gone through a painful and very hardship, that kind of the time. So of course their heart will be very suffering. So this suffering also as Heavenly Parents suffering. So at that time, I can feel that kind of the Heavenly Parents' heart in myself. So I am very moved, and I also from my heart, in bottom of my heart, I also feel very sorry to Heavenly Parents. Yeah, because we are still not enough. So we need to work hard more, and then we need to put more effort. And then we really need to listen well to many people, because when we can really listen and then we can understand their heart, and then it is the time that we can liberate their heart. And it is a time that their heart also can be consoled and it all can be healed. I can feel Heavenly Parents can come into this person's heart and then healing their wound inside of their body. So I feel this is very wonderful. And this is some kind of how to say, a spiritual experience that I gained. And also together with my team, our HTM, we have a awakening coaching healing section. We did as a trinity with one member. So we want to practice, really, we cannot have our own ego. So we need to practice egoless. Egoless, that means know ourselves, know myself, empty myself. So because of that, then we can feel that is something happen. Something happened that whatever we talk, whatever we share out, it is not ourselves, but it is some kind of the inspiration from our Heavenly Parents, the love and the heart from Heavenly Parents come down, and then together we can really heal this person's heart. So I feel this is so wonderful, this kind of the listening well skill. We must really enhance it, and then we must really practice thoroughly in our life, to our members, to all the people we meet. Then I feel we can bring so much of a happiness and so much of a joy to people surrounding us. Yeah, this is my sharing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good report. So Limbu, please Limbu. Reverend Limbu. 예, 레버런 림부. 예. 손을 드시고 계시네요. 네, 들어주시죠.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear respected Professor Gill. Greetings and namaste, and all my national leaders, respected leaders, blessed families, brothers and sisters, as well as my Sunmoon Unity Group, Puskar Thapa, as well Lasmar Kakisar, as well Lal Vikram Thapa, all the team here. So it is very good time to listen well before do well. I'm really, my heart thoughts do well, but need to prepare environment for do well is really the practical things. So as well as listen well first. So I also realized that first also we have to listen. Yes, that's why it's very good presentation today, dear Professor Gil. Thank you so much. We miss you so much. You know, before 5 years, this time you are here in Itahari University. Before 5 years for the second cyber literacy school. Now became the Sondo Literacy School. But before cyber literacy school 2, we was organized in Nepal, Itahari University. Same this time. Before 5 years, you are with us. So thank you, dear Professor Gil, for your time, blessing, and everything. We miss you so much. As well, today presentations, I miss the video. Before, you saw one video, like dog and the kids. So heart-touching video, but today, we miss kinds of the video. So thank you so much, dear Professor Gil, for your hard work. We are together today also, Saturday service. We join together physically with our Trinity families in our center today. So we are moving continuously with one dream, one goal, one directions from to mother. Whatever you delivering message is really the need to for the formations and growth, the extreme activities. So also Reverend Ryan presentations very good. Thank you so much, Reverend Ryan, and also our sister Hui Kim. Your sharing, very heart-touching sharing with your daughter is very heart-touching. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you very much. 자, 우리 림부 목사님 옆에 와이프가 앉아 계시는데 한번 물어보세요. 여보, 나의 경청 점수가 몇 점인지 말해줄 수 있겠냐고 물어보시기 바랍니다.
Oh, now, Reverend Limbo, your wife is sitting with you. Could you please ask your wife, what's my score for as a good listener? What is the score?
Good listener, because it's
as a listener.
I'm just
Could you please ask her?
Good evening, dear respected Professor Gil and all blessed families and all brothers, sisters, and everyone. Savijanale namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much. Listening, very good.
frankly, okay? Yeah, you can speak frankly.
So if you can score your husband 10,
Yeah.
out of what's the score you want to give him?
100.
100?
100?
100%?
예. 자, 그러면 림부가 다시 얘기해봐요. 정말 자기는 몇 점 같아요?
My husband, very hardworking. Every time, every second, too much hard work. And so, 100% score I give. Thank you.
Oh.
Okay. Professor Gil also asked Reverend Limbo, you yourself, what's the score can you give as a good listener? What's the score you can give it to yourself?
Thank you so much. Actually, my wife, very beautiful, but more than beautiful heart, very good, beautiful heart. That's why she gave me 100 score. But I think I'm trying to my best with my family, my STEM area, my Trinity team. But score, I don't know. Maybe score above score, Professor Gill is maybe no. So thank you. I will try to my best.
Okay. Next time I ask you to. Yeah, okay. 자, 그러면은 지금 그 발표자 한 분이 더 계시니까 그 발표를 듣고 그다음 또 진행하도록 하겠습니다.
We have a second presenter. Let's listen to our second presenter, and then we can continue. Mrs. Masika Chimfuambe from Botswana National President White, right? Ami?
안녕하세요. Good morning, good afternoon, Professor Gill, and to all heavenly parents, all the community members. Yeah, this is a wonderful opportunity to be with you, Professor Gill, to learn from you. And I was asking myself, where have you been all this time? Because if you gave us all this teaching when we started HTM Providence here in Africa in 2015, I'm sure we could restore already 1/3 of African population. And I've just appreciated this teaching, because if it is given to all couples in the world, I'm sure we'll have less divorce. Why we are having divorce in the world? Because husbands don't want to listen to their wives. Wives don't want to listen to their husband. Children don't want to listen to their parents. Parents don't want to listen to children, and your family break down because of not listening well. And if we look even at school, why students fail? Because they don't listen well to professors like you. They don't listen well to their teachers. So we really appreciate very much what you are teaching us. Actually, it's a new revelation. So it's not only true father who received the revelation. Right now, we are receiving a revelation from you, because this is going to help us in our lives. And when we start practicing, I'm sure we'll be completely different. We'll have harmony, peace in our families. And first, I would like to recognize our heavenly parents as the best coach, because he has been listening to us for more than 6,000 years. Every day we offer prayers, we cry, we complain, but he's there listening. And the true father is another good coach, because he could even listen to small kids. He could offer all his heart listening to small children. He could teach Sunday school. And he could sit down for hours listening to Reverend you, for hours listening to the divine principle. But he is the one who taught divine principle to Reverend you. So that is a sign of humility, egoless. Father didn't say, no, I'm the Messiah. Everybody should listen to me. But he could sit for hours listening to Dr. Yohan Lee, Reverend Yu, Reverend Kwak, and so many other lecturers. And also our true mother, as you taught us, the 20th century was the century for leaders who spoke, like talking too much, no listening to their people, to their citizens. And that's why we have too many dictators, because they don't have a place to listen to their people. But the 21st century is a century of leaders who listen. And the true mother is the best of all, the best coach of 21st century. True mother is a woman, a mother of few words. Even when we have summits, world summit rallies, true mother, she listen to these guest VIPs, the long report from Dr. Yoon, and she's there listening quietly. And when she'll be given a chance to talk, it's just few minutes. So we need to learn from these heavenly leaders. So today's topic, why I'm not using the PPT, because today we are not talking of seeing well. We are talking of do well. And do well, it's all about listening well and coaching well. So when we talk about coaching well, there are things which we need really to understand. Right now, Professor Gill said we need to practice. And in this session, we're actually practicing because you are all coaches. You are listening. So you have shown to me that you listen well. And that's why you are not talking. You are just listening to me. And I'm your client. And who is the observer now here? I think Heavenly Parents is the observer. Because we have so many observers, but let's take our Heavenly Parent as the observer. So coaching well, how do we coach well? We need to see divinity in the client. That means we need to value our client, the person we are talking to, the person God has brought to us. And we can see in the case of HTM, for example, the people we meet in the HTM, those are our clients. And for a client to listen well to the coach, the client need to be prepared. So how do we prepare these couples in HTM? We have mobilizers, whom we call John the Baptist. These mobilizers goes to these couples, prepare their mind to receive, to listen well to our teaching. Because when they listen well, when the couple are prepared already, their mind is prepared already, they can easily listen well, understand the content of the blessing explanation, and none of them is going to refuse to receive the blessing because they listened well. So listening well is actually a gift. It's really a talent, it's a treasure. And when we see a coach as well, as Professor Yu explained to us, how can we become good coach? We need to use the clean language. And it's so wonderful that just this word clean has a very, very important content. C stands for confidence, L stands for love language, and E stands for egoless, A stands for affirmative, and N stands for neutral. And if we analyze this content of just this simple word clean, we can truly, truly be successful coach. We can really coach well using clean language. So we need to train. When we go back home, let's sit down, analyze again this word clean, and see how we can put it into practice. Because I'm interested in the C, confidence. We need to really trust our client. We need to see God in them. We need to see God in our client. And when we see God in our client, there is no way we'll be reckless. There is no way we'll be commanding or dictators. We just use a language of love. And that's what to touch our client and make the client to really appreciate God in the coach also, because there is a give and take relationship. So there should be harmony between the coach and the client. And the give and take can only be substantiated when there is love. So actually we need to talk of artistic coaching. Everything should be centered on love, because God is our best coach. And from God we learn to love. We learn to use the love language. There is no ego in God. God is so humble, so selfless, and is so positive, affirmative. And God is neutral. He loves everyone, everyone. Even the worst criminal has a place in God's heart. And God do listen well, even to those criminals. That's why people like Hitler would be blessed, and so on. So that's why Professor Gill said we shouldn't have preconception or a judge. We shouldn't be judgmental in the position where we are in front of the client and we start already judging this client. We start having some misconception. That does not help us. So coaching well also really, it depends. To coach well, truly the give and take action is very important, because we need to have harmony between the coach and the client. The same harmony we are sharing right now. You are listening to me and I'm talking, and I can really feel your love. I can feel your attention. I can see that you are listening carefully. That shows love and respect. And we need to also think of this four aspect of coaching well, where we need to talk of mirroring. That means when you are in front of your client, your member, anybody else, we need to see that person as ourselves. We need to put ourselves in the place of that person. And we need to see God in that person. And also we need to repeat the client's core words. When a client is talking to us, we need to listen and capture the core words of the client and be able to repeat those words to show that the client is not just wasting his time talking. He's really bring out of him some good words, and we need to really also repeat those words to show that we give value to our clients. And we need also to do the pacing. That means we need to look at the client and see how the client is responding, how the client is really participating in the conversation. Even how the client is breathing, we need to check that, his body language. And even the tone of his voice, we need to check all those things. That's why I said this is such a great revelation, because if we knew all this, we could make less mistake, because we have killed so many people because of using our mouth carelessly and not being able to listen. So even in the HTM area, if we don't really consider the body language of our people, and as we are talking to them, explaining about the blessing, it's very difficult for them to receive the message and receive the blessing. And also, Professor, you talked about calibration. That means we need to look for possible hidden message in our client. And that can only happen if we prepared ourselves internally, if we offered devotion to open our spiritual ears. If we didn't do that, it's very difficult to penetrate the heart of the client. And we need also to really be able also to backtracking. That means this one we talked about repeating the words of the client. So we also need something very important also we shouldn't forget in this teaching of Professor Yun, is about the 7 ways of listening well. This is very, very important. We shouldn't just take listening well for granted. There are ways and means to listen well. So number 1, we need to prepare our mind. That means devotion, sincere devotion is needed. Because if we are not prepared spiritually, it's very difficult for people to listen to us, even if we have such an important message, because that important message is lacking the spiritual touch. So we need to insert in our message the spiritual touch so that our listeners are interested in what we are saying and can be able to listen to us. And number 2, we need to put down all the preconception and judgment about people. So we need to listen to them. We need to take time to listen to our people. And number 3, eye contact is very, very important. You know what? When we are going like to explain the 3-day ceremony, we'll ask couples, did you honor the 40-day separation period? The best way to catch the couple, if they did or not, is just to look in their eyes straight. If the couples do not look straight in our eyes, you know already that this couple didn't complete the 40-day separation period. And when you ask them, I can see you didn't manage. What happened? And they will confess and say, it's true, we didn't. That's why we cannot even look in your eyes, because we feel guilty. So eye contact when we are talking, when we are sharing with others, we really need to have eye contact so that we can be focused. Because if you are checking on other things around when you are talking to somebody, you lose focus. And there is nothing good which will come out of that conversation. So number 4, we need to catch the emotion of others. Remember our song song. One important element in our song song is emotion. So human beings are emotional beings. And when we touch their emotion, we move their heart, they always respond very well and they will always listen. And fruitful discussion, fruitful conversation will come about. Number 5, we need to take memo to remember whatever we are talking about. So right now, I don't know if you are really taking notes. So if you are not taking notes, please take now to show that we are practicing what we are learning today. Because Professor Gill didn't waste his time. And you remember the first presenter said we need actually to pay him, because this teaching is so precious, very, very precious. We really need to appreciate that. So we need also number 6, acknowledge the emotion. 7, we need to allow silence. Silence, as Professor Gill said, leaders of 21st century don't talk, they listen. And the true mother has shown us that example. So silence, as there is a say in French, le silence adore la parole d'argent. That means silence is like gold, while the words are like silver. So gold is more precious than silver. And I remember my grandmother always reminded me that silence is a treasure. It's a very precious treasure. Actually, you have less problems in this world if you keep silence. Sometimes we find ourselves in problems because of talking too much. And we don't realize on the way how many people we are hurting, how many people we are pushing away from God. So even True Father gave us a very nice poem, Love is Silence. Even Heavenly Parent himself is silent. Do we hear God talking? Do we hear his voice? He's ever silent, but he's acting, he's working, and we can see the result of his work. So I think, I don't know with our moderator if I still have some time, but I really appreciate this teaching. It has really wakened me up and has really helped me. And those who are couples, please let us learn to listen well to our spouses. And this is the message we need to take actually even to the couples in our tribal area, because there are a lot of gender-based violence because of not listening well. If women can learn to listen to their husband, I'm sure they won't be beaten every now and then. They will avoid the beating. And we know that as women, we like talking too much. We don't like listening. And that's why it ends up in gender-based violence. So silence, listening well is one thing.
아이고, 인터넷 문제가 조금 있으시는 것 같은데 큰 박수 좀 부탁드리겠습니다.
I think there's a little bit of problem with the internet. Let's give a big round of applause for those presenters today. Thank you.
그러면은 우리 데레사, 마더 데레사 프리스 소감 좀 얘기하도록 그렇게 했으면 좋겠어요.
Teresa, Mother Teresa, could you please share your reflection today?
For the internet disconnection, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I listened to your great report, but okay, could you tell me that what is your listening score, please? Your listening score. Yeah.
I know myself, Professor Gill, I won't tell lies. My score is very bad. I think it's a 2 out of 10.
그래요? 어이구. 예. 예, 고맙습니다. 그러면은 우리 데레사님, 우리 좀 해주시고, 예.
Please, Mrs. Teresa, could you please share your reflection?
Sorry. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Professor Kiel asked another sister, Mother Teresa, where are you? Could you please share your reflection?
Get your question.
Could you please share your reflection?
Yeah, yes, Professor Gill,
Okay.
good evening, and I really appreciate that you sent out your lecture already beforehand, and I took note at that time when I listened to it, and also today I filled in more and learned more. And I really also appreciate the reflections that were given, especially also by Mrs. Evelyn Masika from Africa. I feel she's very correct the way she speaks about God, how he listens to us. And I feel it is good to listen without giving advice. And just to listen and to trust that the person I'm listening to already knows what to do. Sometimes I like to be listened to like that myself, not always to be given advice. Just to be listened to is very helpful. And yes, I try to be silent with my husband. I listen to my husband and yeah, not to speak too much. He likes it when I don't speak too much. Thank you.
고맙습니다.
Thank you very
자,
much.
그러면 이제 오늘 공부하는 것에 대한 질문을 한번 해보시기 바랍니다.
Anyone has a questions for today's contents that we've learned and listened to? If you have any questions, please.
네, 질문 있으시면 그냥 언뮤트 해주시고 바로 해주시기 바랍니다.
You can unmute yourself if you have any question yourself. Just go ahead and ask question. Any questions, anybody? I think everybody listened so well and no questions. 교수님.
No. I wait for your great question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a small question here for presenter Evelyn. It's about clean language. She mentioned about clean. Can you repeat again about clean language? You mentioned about confident, love, egoless, and neutral. And what was the A? I forgot. I missed it.
Thank you for your question, my dear brother. The A was about affirmative.
Affirmative. Okay.
Yes, affirmative.
So
in short, we need to be looking forward. We need to be people who are forward looking with a positive mind. So we should avoid negative things in our talk, because it shows like pessimism and it doesn't give hope. So when we are talking to people, we should be positive minded, and that should be reflected in the sentences we are using. And because we are there to give hope to people, to uplift them, and as listeners, as coaches, to maintain also that give and take action. Really, we should be positive minded, because in French, affirmative is like positive.
Right.
Yes. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
For Evelyn too?
Yes, you're welcome.
Why do you give yourself only 2 out of 10? And how are you to improve?
Because I just went back to myself and to my couple. I rarely listen to my husband, so that's why I scored myself 2 out of 10. He listens more.
So what are you going to do to replace your 8?
Yeah, I need to learn to listen now from today. I have to be a listener, so I can be a good wife.
Thank you. I want to be a good wife too. Thank you.
Thank you.
예, 2점밖에 되지 않는다니까 관심이 집중되는군요.
Because you say you give yourself only 2 out of 10. Everybody's interested and focused on you now.
앞으로 노력한다는 걸 내가 어떻게 알 수 있겠습니까?
How could I know that you will make an effort from now on for yourself or for your listening?
You ask my husband after 1 month.
오케이. 예. 고맙습니다. 오늘 너무 중요한 얘기를 서로 이렇게 마음 놓고 나눌 수 있는 게 돼서 너무나 고맙습니다.
thank you so much today that we can really share this important topic and share with one another. Thank you so much.
참어머님 참 자서전에도 나오지만은 마음의 소리를 들어야 된다. 이게 참 중요하죠.
Even in True Mother's autobiography, it mentions that we need to listen to the voice or sound of our heart from inner voice.
이렇게 무서운 전쟁이 벌어지는 것도 우리들이 그 최고 리더들이 마음의 소리를 듣지 못하기 때문에 이런 일이 벌어지는 겁니다.
Even this horrible war is happening right now. It's because the top leaders are not able to listen to the voice of their heart and their original mind.
그래서 우리가 천보 과정이 되려면은 듣는 수행을 해야 됩니다.
In order for us to become Chombo families, we have to train and practice ourselves to listen very well.
보통 우리가 들을 때는 내가 말을 하기 위해서 듣는 케이스가 많이 있어요.
When we say we're listening, then we are listening because we want to say something.
그리고 말을 듣고 난 다음에 판단하거나 그 다음에 또 나의 에고로서 답을 하기 위해서 들을 경우가 많죠.
And after we listen to someone, we usually make a kind of judgment and try to give answers or, with our own ego.
그러니까 사람의 소리를 잘 못 듣는데 어떻게 하나님의 소리를 듣겠습니까?
When we cannot really listen to voice of people, how could we listen to God's voice?
그래서 우리가 살아있는 사람들의 소리를, 상대의 소리를 듣기 위해서 연습을 열심히 하면 마음의 소리를 들을 수 있다는 거죠.
So if we really train ourselves to listen to the people's mind and their voices, then that will become a great practice for us to listen to our inner voice, the God's voice.
그럼 우리가 다음 만날 때까지 여러분이 이런 연습과 수행을 많이 한 다음에 다음 만나 뵙기로 하겠습니다.
So let's practice until next time we meet each other. Let's practice and train ourselves to listen well to others, shall we?
네. 우리 모두 다 우크라이나 전쟁이 빨리 끝나기를 기도하십시다.
And let's all pray for the ending of the war in Ukraine. Let's pray all together.
자, 그러면 여러분 오늘 수고 많이 하셨습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
예, 소감문들은 다 코디네이터한테 올려주시기 바랍니다.
고맙습니다, 프로페서 김.
야, thank you.
야, 고맙습니다.
Thank you.
많이 감사합니다.
예, 감사합니다. 고맙습니다.
감사합니다. Thank you.
Have a great month.
Bye.
Bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are very grateful.
Thank you, everyone.
Bless.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor Gil.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Ah, sì, sì, apri.